I've been using my Always pan for several years. It's definitely my go-to, but I recently got this upgraded 2.0 version and I really love some of the features. It now has a completely non-toxic ceramic non-stick coating that will last even longer. Just like the regular Always pan, it has an included spatula made out of beechwood and it stores nicely right on the handle. I have mine in the color Steam, but it does come in a couple of really beautiful colors. I happen to like this color just because it matches with my home decor. The other thing I really love, other than its cooking capabilities, is that the outside stays really beautiful. I wipe it down right after cooking to make sure that stains don't get baked on, and it stays looking nice and clean for many years. There's a couple of really neat features on the inside. Let me show you. Just look at how absolutely beautiful this pan is. I actually keep this out on my stovetop all the time. There's no need to store it. It's so gorgeous on its own, and it definitely blends in nicely with my home decor. There's a few features here that are really special. Of course, it has this incorporated spatula right on the handle, which we all love, but let me show you what's on the inside. This particular pan is 10.5 inches and it's perfect for my family. I actually have a pretty large family of 6 and I can cook all of my meals in here without any issues. I use this for a lot of different things. It's just my general everyday skillet. It's even replaced my larger pot and pan because you can boil, fry, and steam in here. The pan itself is really sturdy, but it's lightweight. It doesn't weigh nearly as much as some of my heavier pots and pans. The lid is really nice and it also has a really nice texture to it. You'll see that there's a little indicator here on the top of the lid, and this shows you exactly where the vent hole is. If you center this over the pour spouts of the pan, you can steam your products on the inside or drain your pan. The inside is smooth and has a circular pattern which helps moisture absorb and drip back down into your pan. The spatula stores directly on the handle when not in use. It has this little hole that matches up with the hole on the handle. I do make sure I hand wash all of these items in soap and water. Over time, you may notice that this starts to discolor. This is normal, but you can use a little bit of oil on here to maintain the look of the wood if you want. It has this really nice handle on the side, which is great, especially if you're going to be putting this in the oven. This can go in the oven up to 450 degrees, as can the lid. Just make sure you're aware that this does get quite hot when you're cooking on the stovetop or if you're taking it out of the oven. So this comes with the steamer basket on the inside. You can use this for steaming, frying, or boiling. I like to actually use this for steaming my vegetables like broccoli, but it's also really great for hard boiling eggs. And when you're finished, you can use it as a strainer as well. These handles lift up and out easily. It's a nice fine mesh, so if you're cooking pasta in here, you don't need to worry about any of it falling through the bottom. It's deep enough to accommodate quite a few items, and the lid is domed, so it can stick a little bit up over the lip of this tray. And this is the inside coating of the pan. You can see that it's ceramic. It's the same color as the pan and it's nice and smooth. I can use this for sautéing and braising. I get a really nice crispy brown crust when I cook my steak or chicken on here. I do make sure I add a little oil to the pan before I'm heating it up. You don't ever want to heat the pan up dry. And I do make sure I cool this down, just like my other pots and pans, before washing it. You don't want to warp it. You can see the bottom of the pan has a nice metal plate. This can work on all cooktops. This can work for induction stoves, gas, and electric. Let me show you how I like to use this on my stove. In this case, I'm going to be steaming some eggs and vegetables. So I'm going to remove the spatula. I'm going to remove the steamer basket. And you only need to add a small amount of water to the bottom of the pan. I'd say about 1/4 inch or so until it reaches the very bottom of the steamer basket. I place my steamer basket back on the inside. Now I can place my items inside and place it on the stove to heat up. I particularly love using this to hard boil my eggs because the steamer basket has a little divot around the edge and all of my eggs sit nicely in a row. It only takes a couple of minutes to fully hard boil an egg. You could even do a soft boiled egg if you wanted to. Same goes for steaming vegetables. You simply add your vegetables and pop the top back on, making sure that the steamer lid is centered over the spout of the pan. I set this on my stove over medium-high heat for about 10 or 15 minutes. I really love how beautiful this looks sitting out on my stove. I have my eggs in here that have been steaming and now I'm ready to take them over to a cold ice bath. My eggs have been steaming in here nicely. Now I can lift them up and out and into a cold ice bath. I can make my entire meal in one pan. I'm going to empty out this boiling water and I'm going to fill it with an oil, heat it up, and cook a little bit of protein. I'm just going to pour a little bit of olive oil in here. It only takes about a teaspoon or so to coat the bottom, and then turn on my heat on medium-high. Now that my pan's been heating up for a couple of minutes, I simply make sure the entire bottom is coated with the oil. And today I'm just going to be putting some frozen shrimp in here. This spatula works perfectly with the pan. The angle of the edge of the spoon fits perfectly into the edge of the pan. I place the lid back on for my shrimp to thaw and to cook a little bit more. Now let's turn them over and see if we got a nice crisp on the bottom. We're starting to get a really nice sear on these. They need a couple more minutes. You can see my shrimp beautifully seared. They're not sticking at all. And there's a little bit of sear left on the pan. If I just move it around with my spatula, you can see how easily this is going to wash off. It's a beautiful skillet. It has so many uses. This is definitely a must-have in any cook's kitchen.